Hi everyone, you are watching MJ Talks and I am your host, Marl Joseph Lomanog, and today we are going to dive into something a little different. It's about how our minds work, specifically how we apply different thinking styles to solve problems, even creative ones like art, identification. We all use our brains in amazing ways every day, often without even realizing the specific style of thinking we're employing. But understanding these styles can really activate your full brain power. As a great visual I saw recently put it, in fact, let me pull it up for you to see now. This image breaks down 7 K styles: critical, analytical, abstract, creative, concrete, convergent, and divergent thinking. Each one is a tool in our mental toolbox, and knowing when to use which one can make all the difference. Today, I want to walk you through a recent challenge I faced and how I leaned heavily on one particular thinking styles to get through it. My task was simple yet intriguing. I was presented with a grid of paintings and artworks and asked to identify the art era each set of three belonged to. There were four distinct eras in total represented across these images. At first glance, it might seem like a purely knowledge-based task. You either know your art history or you don't. But even if you have some knowledge, the real work lies on breaking down the visual information, and that, my friends, is where analytical thinking became my superpower for this task. According to our diagram, analytical thinking is all about breaking it down. It means taking complex problems and splitting them into manageable parts, finding causes and patterns, and then using that information to solve logical problems. And that's precisely what I did. Let me show you. When I look at this first row, I didn't just see old paintings. I started to break them down. I noticed the light, often pastel color palettes, the sense of aristocratic elegance, and themes that seemed focused on leisure or intimate portraits. There was a delicate, somewhat ornate quality. These weren't grand, dramatic scenes. These patterns of observation led me to identify these as a Rococo era. Next, I moved to the second row. Here the patterns were starkly different. I saw dramatic landscapes, turbulent skies, intense emotion, and often a solitary figure dwarfed by nature's power. One piece even looked like a famous painting depicting a shipwreck. The sheer emotion, intensity, and focus on the sublime in nature clearly pointed towards romanticism. I was finding the causes behind these visual patterns. The third row had its own distinct pattern. Here, the brushstrokes were much more visible, almost sketchy. The artist seemed obsessed with capturing the fleeting effects of light, especially on water and in outdoor scenes. The colors were vibrant, trying to capture the momentary impression of a scene. This collection, of course, was undeniably Impressionism. Finally, the fourth row wasn't just paintings. It included posters and decorative ironwork. But again, I look for the patterns: flowing, organic, curvilinear lines, stylized natural forms, especially plants and female figures, and a strong sense of decorative flair. These visual cues collectively screamed Art Nouveau. So, by systematically breaking down each set of images, identifying the unique patterns in their style, subject matter, and color, I was able to solve the logical problem of matching them to their correct historical art eras. This wasn't guesswork, it was a deliberate application of analytical thought. Now, once I had successfully identified these four eras, Rococo, Romanticism, Impressionism, and Art Nouveau, the challenge evolved. I was then asked to deepen my understanding by suggesting four additional works for each era that would also fit perfectly. This task still required analytical thinking, but it also brought in a bit more abstract thinking and concrete thinking. So, what is concrete thinking? Concrete thinking came in as I focused on specific details and facts about famous artworks I knew. What were their exact characteristics? Did they truly align with the core principles of the era? And of course, for the abstract thinking allowed me to think beyond the specific examples I just analyzed and generalize the essence of each era. What was the overarching philosophy? or visual language of Rococo, of Romanticism. Then I could find other examples that shared that abstract quality. To expand on Rococo, I thought of first the Swing by Fragonard, second the Embarcation of Cythera by Watteau, third is the Portrait of Madame de Pompadour by Boucher, and lastly the Blue Boy by Gainsborough. Each of these pieces perfectly exemplifies the delicate colors, playful themes, and aristocratic charm of the era. Then for the Romanticism, I immediately thought of works that exuded drama and intense emotion. First, Liberty Leading the People by Delacroix. Second, The Raft of the Medusa by Géricault. Third, The 3rd of May, 1808 by Goya. And lastly, The Fighting Temeraire by Turner. These all-powerful, evocative images that capture the era's focus on heroism, suffering, and the sublime. For Impressionism, I look for more example of light-drenched scenes and visible brushwork. First, Bal du Moulin de la Galette by Renoir. Second, the Monet's famous Water Lily series. Third, A Bar at the Follies Bergerie by Manet. And lastly, The Paris Street Rainy Day by Calibo. These works truly show the diverse ways Impressionists captured modern life and landscapes with their characteristic style. And finally, for Art Nouveau, I selected pieces that showcase its unique organic and decorative elements. First, Alphonse Moka's iconic Gismunda poster. Second, the interior of the Hotel Tazel by Vector Horta. Third, Gustav Klimt's Shimmering the Keys. And lastly, the instantly recognizable Paris Metro entrances by Hector Guimard. These demonstrate how Art Nouveau wasn't just about paintings, but a comprehensive style that influenced architecture, graphic design, and decorative arts. So, as you can see, what started as an art history quiz became a fantastic journey into understanding how we think. My core approach was analytical thinking, breaking down complex visuals into discernible patterns. This was then supported by concrete thinking to observe details and abstract thinking to generalize the essence of each art movement, allowing me to confidently expand on the examples. It just goes to show that whether you're solving a complex work problem, organizing your life, or even just appreciating art, consciously understanding and applying different thinking styles can make you more effective, more insightful, and frankly, more brilliant. That's all for today on MG Talks, and I hope this gave you a new perspective on how your brain works. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what thinking style you use most often. Until next time, keep thinking and keep exploring.